So this is one of 9 remaining races left to finish day 2 of Henley Women's Regatta.
Clean start from both crews. The camera focuses now on the Dundee crew. We can see they're really hauling off the start now, trying to maximise the advantage that they can get over this Edinburgh crew, who no doubt they will know a lot about after racing each other at the on the Scottish regatta scene so far this season.
Yeah, Dundee certainly look like, from this starting point, they are the stronger crew, really pulling away with their blades and pushing with their legs, making a big difference. But we can't quite work out from these camera angles in our view who's quite gained that lead. Okay, so just coming up to our commentary position here, we can see the 2 crews from race number 230, the first one for the development. 4 is just coming past us, both crews looking extremely strong in this all-Scottish race. I think it looks like from my position here that Dundee might just be taking a lead. Definitely not a lot in it though. They move up the course. I don't know if you could hear that as they went past us, but some very enthusiastic coxers in that boat. As Martin was saying earlier, sometimes forgotten, but obviously one of the most important parts of an 8, otherwise I don't think there would be nearly as much good steering if it was left to just bow.
No, we've definitely seen that in some of the Coxless 4 races. A few unconventional lines being taken down the Henley course. I think snake would be the word to describe them.
Yes, I would agree, particularly with some of the starts, but racing has been all of very high standard today here. You just see that shot there on screen. Both crews still really working hard to just gain on the other, but definitely the Berkshire Station of the Dundee University boat do seem to have a clear lead at this point.
Now in the bottom left hand corner of your screen you can see the next race has begun, which is race number 231, the second course final here in the Development Coxfalls between Molesey Boat Club and Agecroft Rowing Club. Agecroft Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire station there on the left hand side of your screen. You can just see the spoons of the Molesey Boat Club crew appearing in the right as the camera pans across. But it is still a very exciting race in the top right between Dundee University and the University of Edinburgh. Seems to be the case that the crews are having to go for a sprint finish here at the finish line as they have just made it past the 3/4 mile. Still plenty of opportunity left on the course for the Edinburgh University crew to launch a late charge. As we have a look to the finish camera that we have available to us, the Edinburgh University crew are continuing to eat into that advantage held by the Dundee crew there in the top right hand corner of your screen. But if we return to the race in the bottom left hand corner, it is Agecroft on the Buckinghamshire station that have led out of the blocks coming past the quarter mile here. You can just see them on the right hand side behind the umpire's launch there. Lovely shot there of Temple Island in the background as the crews make their way down this Henley course.
You can just see Agecroft coming past us looking really strong. A huge amount of support going from on down below. Incredible strength of those girls there, we can see. But Molesey definitely not giving up yet. We've seen some strong performances from them all day actually today, across the different events. I think this could be a close one. It looks like Molesey are definitely gaining back some water on Agecroft. So just to update you, still coming up on, still to come up to race, we've got the last of the development fours, and then followed by the J16 quads, and then that re-row of race 205, and that will be the end.
So Agecroft now seem to have broken clear water over the Molesey Cox 4. Slightly shadier now on the Henley course. The sun's disappeared behind some clouds. No doubt it will reappear before the racing concludes for the day. You can see there now on the graphic the announcement, race 231. So now in the bottom left-hand corner, the race that's just begun is race number 232 between Durham University A and Vesta Rowing Club B. Durham University closest to us on the bank side of the bank on the Berkshire station, and Vesta Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire side of this course.
That was a nice clean start there from both crews, moving away from the start pontoons. I'll be both pretty pleased with that as far as some of those starts go today. It does seem to look like from our position that Durham University A crew do have the lead on Vesta Rowing Club B as they approach that quarter mile mark. You can just see on that drone footage there that Durham are just pulling away more and more. You can see our little commentary box over there on the left hand side as they're coming to approach us. We can get into view Durham Rowing Club, or Durham University rather, coming in front, their bow ball significantly ahead of Vesta Rowing Club B. Difficult time of day to race, I'd say, though. It's been a long day for many crews, and especially if there were qualifiers yesterday. So it's fantastic to see them maintaining their stamina after a long, hard day of racing in the heat.
Now, bearing in mind we also had all the junior crews, excluding the J16 crews, and some championship events having to do their time trials this morning, and then go on to do their racing this afternoon at around 3 o'clock. So it's a case of managing how you approach the day with two races ahead for the majority of those crews, and also planning your regime ready for the next day's racing for the crews that have made it through the racing. But now, going past the enclosures, we can see that this Durham University A crew have a 2-length lead over the Agecroft crew.
And shortly we'll be seeing the start of race number 233, the last of the development fours, which will be between Lee Rowing Club A and, again, Tideway Sculler School. So on the bottom left of your screen there, you can see the start of race number 233, pushing off the stake boats, coming up to nearly the end of Temple Island now. So I'll say again, we've got Lee Rowing Club on the Berkshire side and Tideway Sculler School on the Buckinghamshire station.
So this race down on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen is the final quarter-final today in the development Coxed Fours for the Frank v Harry Cup. Coming up next is the Junior 16 Quads, which is for the Nina Padwick Trophy, sponsored by Nina Padwick. So now, coming past our commentary position, we can see it is the crew from Tideway Sculler School yet again leading this race ahead of Lee Rowing Club by just about half a canvas of clear water. Of course, the Lee Rowing Club coaches being ever vocal, cycling past our commentary position just there as they go past the barrier.
Yeah, I think it's been a tough day for both clubs actually. We've seen them race I was going to say consistently down the course, but no, we've seen them, a lot of both these clubs on the course today in across all ranges of the categories. It just goes to show some of the strength that we can see in women's rowing currently. Of
course, a lot of depth in these programs. They'll have their crews from both clubs will have achieved various success in their races today, but we can see here it's the Tideway Scullers crew that are leading. But anyway, onward, and we welcome Amana joining us here in the commentary box, ready for this event, which we've got 4 more races left, 5 races left, and we're beginning with the Junior 16 Quads. This is for the Nina Padwick Trophy. This first race is between Bedford Modern School on the Berkshire station and Henley Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire station. Now, Amana, what can you tell us about this race?
I'd say they're two very strong crews. Henley probably the firm favourites to win the category overall. But we've definitely got a lot of international crews as well. You can see Sydney have come over from Australia, so I'd be expecting some quite big things from them. But as far as race 2, 3, 4 goes, I think Henley definitely will probably have the upper hand.
Well, we can just see there that the Henley crew have actually hit the booms and Bedford have seized the advantage in this race.
Well, I'd say that's commentator's curse, Will.
No doubt you'll be having an email from them very soon.
And surely a bit of a shock for Henley, considering this is their home straight. Surprising of them to have hit the booms there, but there we go.
We can just see here the Henley Rowing Club J16 quad have recovered from that earlier incident with the booms and are now making their charge back on this Bedford Modern School crew. Advantage at the moment seems to be about a length and a half to Bedford Modern. Certainly Henley seem to have the ability to close this gap. There's still a long way to go on this course.
I would say just as they come past, Henley are definitely the more technically efficient crew. You can see the back end there, really nice shape with the hands. They're getting the boat moving up the water and flowing really nicely.
But still in the top right hand corner of your screen is that Cox 4 race between Tideway Scullers and Lee. We're just focusing there on Tideway Scullers. You can see their distinctive white with the red and yellow striped kit, making their way just past the camera on the finish line, progressing through to the semi-finals tomorrow morning. But yeah, as we look back to the bottom left-hand corner, we can see that the Henley crew have now closed the advantage that Bedford Modern have and have regained overlap after that earlier incident with the booms coming out of Temple Island, and it seems to be that they're eating into the seat and slowly drawing level now.
So Henley have just rowed through Bedford Modern School, and I'd expect nothing less from a crew of their pedigree. We've seen their seniors racing today, their J18s. I'd say a pretty tough club to beat. Definitely favourites for quite a few competitions this week.
As we say this, we can see from the commentary booth here we've got 2 more crews lined up on the start, ready to go. The umpire's just dropped his flag. We'll bring you information on that race as soon as we have the camera angles on your screen. But yes, now we can see the Henley crew have actually opened up such an advantage on this Bedford Modern crew that they can now settle down. Yes. And here we have it. It is the second quarter-final race number 235 in the Junior 16 quads between Wycliffe Junior Rowing Club and Isle of Ely Rowing Club on the right-hand side of your screen on the Buckinghamshire station. Now just coming past Temple Island, not so much of steering issues as we have experienced with the earlier races. Seems to be a clean start from both crews at this stage.
So just the national schools regatta results, we had Isle of Ely come 4th at the recent event, and we don't actually have any results for Wycliffe, but
could be that they entered a different event at the National Schools Regatta and have made the transition into the quad since launching their Henley Women's campaign, but it does seem to be the crew from Isle of Ely that have the upper hand at this stage. Just going through the quarter-mile marker there on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Excellent drone shot. But now we can see the Henley crew have just crossed the line there. Excellent row from them, recovering from that earlier mistake with the booms off the start.
Just coming past our commentary booth now, you can see the Isle of Ely crew just inching further and further away from the Wycliffe crew. The Wycliffe crew are a crew from the West Midlands or Midlands area. They have quite a strong bout of boats at the moment. They've previously been quite a small club, but are getting bigger and even more nationally competitive as the years have continued.
You can just see the bow girls of both boats doing a really good job steering there. We haven't had any collisions or getting too close to the booms just yet. Maintaining really nice straight line down the course. That's going to help their crew maintain a nice steady rhythm and probably give them a few extra seconds.
I think it's quite impressive actually to see that it's J16 crews that are having such good steering compared to some of the older, possibly more experienced crews we've seen today. Clearly we've got some strong juniors coming up the ranks.
Now we can just see this Isle of Ely crew here making their way down the course. Seems to be that they've got this race in the bag. Just lining up on the start line now. It's one of the most hotly contested quarterfinals in this event between the Sydney Rowing Club of Australia and Headington School of Oxford. Now, Amana, what can you tell us about this Headington crew?
It's a very young crew. We've got 3 J15s and only 1 16 actually in this boat, so they've done incredibly well just to qualify. I'd say Anna Mattox in the bow. She steered national schools in the girls, I think J16 quad, so she's got a lot of experience with steering, which will definitely help them out and probably give them a bit of extra time. But we've got this crew come over from Sydney, and we don't really know what they're like at the moment, but obviously if you're coming internationally, you're going to be pretty speedy, so I expect some pretty good things from them.
Now I'm just still focused on the Isle of Ely crew. We'll bring you that race as soon as it starts. You can just see from our commentary position here, the crews are lined up and ready to go at the start point on the opposite side of Temple Island. But now Isle of Ely definitely bringing the rate down, conserving their energy, ready for tomorrow's semi-final in this Junior 16 quad event. Right, and now we move on to the third last race of the day between Headington School and Sydney Rowing Club. We've already mentioned the Headington crew. Let's talk about the Sydney crew. They are Lily Gavin, Jasmine Bowers, Lily Eels and Sarah Abrams. They've come all the way over from Sydney to race here at Henley Women's Regatta, showing the prestige that this event holds in the rowing community around the world. Now just going off the start, they're very clean for both crews. Sydney Rowing Club there with the camera focused on them. They are on this Berkshire station of the course, and the Headington crew on the Buckinghamshire station.
That drone shot there does show that Headington are just slightly in the lead. They're just managing to pull away from the Sydney crew. We did, however, see the umpire signalling for the Sydney crew to move back out, and we can see that there really clearly on the drone footage.
I'd say these are 2 quite evenly matched quads looking at it at the moment, but everything can change as we go further into the race. I'd say Headington are probably more technically efficient, but Sydney are definitely not lacking horsepower. You can see these girls are giving it pretty much everything they've got. Headington just inching away there, a couple of seats up on the Sydney crew. As they come past our commentary position, you can see both crews definitely in it to win it.
Yeah, you can really see with our own eyes here just the sheer power of both crews.
I'd say Headington have about half a length on Sydney.
The drone footage that we can currently see on your screens just going to show that Sydney really aren't going to let Headington have an easy race here, although Headington do have that, I think, half boat length, 3/4 lead. They're still going to have to work for it all the way until the end as they go past the enclosure currently, but Sydney are right on their tails.
You can see the straight girl Katie Jeans in the Headington boat really setting up a nice steady rhythm. But also Sydney boat doing a really good job. They're hot on their heels.
Now we'll keep following this race as it progresses. It does seem to be the Headington school with the slight advantage over Sydney at this stage, approaching the 3/4 mile marker. And crews will be coming visible to the spectators at the finish line now. So not long left to go.
And just getting ready at the start lines will shortly come into view is race number 237, preparing to get themselves on the booms. This is the last race of the J16 quads. This has got York City Rowing Club on the Berkshire station and Wallingford Rowing Club on the Buckinghamshire station.
Now for those of you viewing at home, your programmes may tell you that this is the last race of the day. Well, actually we have one more rescheduled race to bring you, so don't go anywhere after this race finishes. We still have the academic aspirational 8 race between the University of Durham and Kent School Boat Club, which is a junior crew from the USA racing in this aspirational academic event. But now we can see as the two junior 16 quads come out of Temple Island, it does seem to be the York crew who are leading, as the Wallingford crew are currently stuck in the booms on Temple Island. You can just see out of our commentary window here, does seem to be the 3 or the stroke seats just had a mishap with their oar and they're having to bring it across to try and push off the bank and return to the track. But at the moment it is York City Rowing Club storming away in this race. The umpire's launch has had to wait for the Wallingford crew to remove themselves from the bushes and progress with their race.
Yeah, you can see there from our position that York City are able to just quite calmly come down the course. Actually, no real hurry at all, but then Wallingford are now so far behind them. It's unlikely, highly unlikely, that they will be able to gain that much clear water back.
We can see just here as the camera moves on from the end of that race between Headington and Sydney, we can see now that the York City crew have made some calls and realised that it's not worth expending their energy when they have such a huge advantage. They are saving themselves for tomorrow's inevitable semi-final now at this stage. I think it would make the front page of the news if Wallingford could come back from this one.
Would certainly be impressive, wouldn't it?
Now it does seem to be, looking at the Wallingford Rowing Club crew as they're coming past our commentary position, you can't see there, but we just, as the York City crew leave the drone shot, it's only bow 3 rowing in this Wallingford Rowing Club Junior 16 quad, the penultimate race today at the Saturday of Henley Women's Regatta. The stroke seat seems to have had an issue with their equipment, which has caused a breakage after that incident hitting Temple Island, and they are now taking it back down to the regatta enclosure. What a shame.
This Wallingford crew had an incredibly successful national schools last month, stroked by Freya Sharp. They won bronze in the J16 girls quad event.
And now up to the start line is the final race today here at the Henley Women's Regatta. This is a quarter-final in the aspirational academic 8s between Durham University and the Kent School Boat Club USA. This is the Colgan Foundation Cup, sponsored by Colgan Foundation.
So you can just see Durham Uni and Kent School starting off the at Temple Island there.
Yeah, Durham off to a really powerful start there. You can see the stroke girl Maya Nikatak setting up that really high rate, powerful strokes.
So as we've already said, this is the last race of Henley Women's on Saturday. So hopefully it will be a good, nice, eventful race to finish off a fantastic day of racing. From that drone footage there, fantastic view of the course, we can see that Durham Uni have a slight advantage there, just about a quarter of a length up on Kent School.
So Kent coming all the way from the USA, they beat Liverpool this morning in their heat. They're doing a really good job up against the University crews. I think it's pretty brave entering a schoolgirls 8 into such a tough event.
Yeah, I'd agree there. They're certainly not letting Durham have it easy. Durham are ahead, but I think that there's every chance that Kent School could, in the middle section of this race, just pull it back and put the power down and just gradually creep ahead of them. So they're coming up to us now in our station position up here in the commentary box. You can see the sleekness of both crews and the power coming from the girls.
So Durham up about half a length from Kent School USA. I'd imagine their race plan is something like win at all costs, you know. They're ready, they want to get through to the next round. And Kent School looking like they might be going home early in this event.
Yeah, I think there's particular pressure on Durham in this race after their mishap of a race which wasn't really their fault early against Edinburgh, where Durham ended up just rowing by themselves due to a mishap at the start. So for them, this is a really crucial race. They want to make sure they're crossing that finish line with their bow ball in front of Kent School.
And for those of you just joining us, this is the last race of the day, Durham University versus Kent School USA.
So just as the crews are going past the enclosure, we'll just fill you in on what will be happening tomorrow in case you're not aware. So tomorrow is semi-final and finals day. There'll be semi-finals during the morning and finals in the afternoon. It'll be a spectacular day of racing for all, and there should be some real competition going down the course.
Yeah, Durham University there really striking their dominance on this race. Kent School had a really strong start off the blocks, but they just weren't strong enough to hold the Durham crew off.
I think this might just go to show that a couple of extra years experience of a university crew just might happen, just have that extra advantage on top of a school crew. So I think it is really experience that can win or lose a race. The more people know and the more opportunity there have been to race.
Yeah, and you can just see Durham there on your screens, really nice long strokes, really technically together, moving wonderfully together. And they really are moving on that Kent School USA crew now.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be much chance of Kent coming back from this one. Durham definitely have it. Really strong and long strokes all the way to the finish line.
You can see Kent School there on the left of your picture, not giving up. Still trying to move towards Durham as they come into the last few hundred metres there.
I think Durham will be feeling pretty confident and happy with this, what looks to be the result of this race. There's little time now for Kent School to make too much of a difference, but they've had a successful day of racing, both crews.
Now we can just see our camera on the finish line here. We have the sprint between Durham and Kent. There you can see Durham crossing the line ahead of Kent. And so concludes the final race of the day here on the Saturday of Henley Women's Regatta 2019. Tomorrow we will bring you the semi-finals and of course the finals in the afternoon. It's been a pleasure having you watching with us. See you tomorrow.